The sun's setting outside, but the temperature certainly starting to rise inside the O2 Arena. Welcome to the build-up of the second and final round of the 2025 GCL Super Cup final. The entire season that started back in late February in Doha, in Qatar, has brought us across the globe. Over 50,000 kilometers traveled, over 4 continents visited, and it brings us to Czechia. It brings us to Prague, and it brings us to the O2 Arena, and it brings us to just one more round of show jumping before the ultimate champion is decided. The ultimate GCL Super Cup winners are decided. Is it going to be a 2-time win for Valkenswaard International, or will it be a first-time ever win for the other 5 teams that find themselves on the current leaderboard? Let's show you the results of GCL Super Final, or the GCL Super Cup Final, I beg your pardon. This is how it stands now going into today's second round. Of all the surprises, it's the Rome Gladiators, powered by Cavalleria Toscana, who lead by just a single rail over the Basel Cosmopolitans. The Prague Lions, the home team, powered by the Czech Equestrian team, are a further rail behind. They're level on points with Valkenswaard International, powered by Horst Jim. Clears for Christian Kuckuck, clears for Max Weishout. Was erased, I'm afraid, by 3 uncharacteristic faults from Philip Weishout. They find themselves now on 12, 1 rail ahead of New York Empire, powered by Lugano, and Valkenswaard United. A real shock. You talk about uncharacteristic. There were 8 penalties for Markus Eining, 8 penalties for Hans-Dieter Dreyer, and 4 penalties for Gilles Thomas on Hermitage Cologne. The 2025 GCL champions will be first to go in the second round, and it is very difficult to imagine even a podium at best from that position. Even if all 3 men jump clear, you would imagine that 20 penalties will still not see them finish on the podium, I'm afraid. So maybe the long wait for a GCL Super Cup title continues for Valkenswaard United. Let's get some course reaction. The course walk, as you can see over my shoulder, officially underway. All the riders are busy with their course walk. I believe that Dan Strange has spoken to one of the Valkenswaard International riders. Christian Kuckuck will give us his thoughts in a few moments' time. That was Judy Mansour from Rome Gladiators talking to Uliano Vezzani, the course designer. The big question now is, what has he put together for that second round? Well, let's get the thoughts then of Christian Kuckuck.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. We're in the arena, and just before he scooted off to get ready, I've grabbed Christian Kuckuck. Christian, you're always such a master at analysing these courses. How do you analyse what Uliano's set for round 2 of the GCL Super Cup?
Thank you. I wish I would. I think if I compare it a bit to yesterday, it's definitely a bit softer than last night's second round. But it's still, I think we're going to have a few changes. This class is not over. We have quite a fair start, I would say, but then after number 4, 5, 6, 7 is already a very tricky line with short distances. Then we have the triple, which was actually a problem in the first round, and now it's the other way around with 2 verticals, but with a plank out, which never really helps, honestly. Then we have quite a tough line outside, away from the in-gate, a really big oxer, a double again. It's 4 stride. I don't think anybody will change that, so it's the same for everyone, which is a little bit more helpful. And then we have an option, actually, if you go inside or you go outside. Going inside, actually, I think saves you a lot of time, but puts you a little bit under pressure for the last fence, because it's a half distance. Very open 6 or short 7. Normally you would always go on 6, but if you go inside, they might run away a little bit, so you have to be aware of that.
You and Philip were just talking a few moments ago. What was the conversation?
Yeah, we were just talking about that lines a little bit. You know, we have sometimes other ideas, or my plan does not mean it's the best for him. And we were just comparing that, and maybe if the other one has an advice for the other one, but we're pretty much on the same line.
Do you think this will suit Checker?
Well, I honestly, on the right day, I don't think there's anything not suiting Checker.
That's a very fair point. Christian, to you and to Valkenswaard International, good luck for the second round. Thank you so much. Mark, back over to you in the studio from a confident Christian Kuckuck.
A smile on the face of Christian Kuckuck, despite a few penalties for Philip Weishout. He still looks in very high spirits. Riesenbach International now on 12 penalties. They will be fourth to go later on tonight. Rome Gladiators lead just ahead of the Basel Cosmopolitans. And one of the most animated characters you will ever find in the world of show jumping now comes to the studio to join us. Keeping a very close eye on the Basel Cosmopolitans was the wonderful Angelica Augustin Zanotelli. Do you have any idea how out of control you sometimes look in the kiss and cry? It makes for beautiful TV, by the way. Are you aware of how your body reacts? Is it uncontrollable to you when you're in the kiss and cry? Because it's fantastic to see.
I kind of think I'm a very calm person.
In the kiss and cry?
But when I enter that kiss and cry, I hate
something else.
I'm out of control. I cannot control anything else going on in the ring, and I don't like it.
It's beautiful to see. It makes for great TV. I feel like everything needs to be reinforced around you, but it talks about the emotion of this. It talks about the energy of this. And take me through then what you were watching in that first round, in particular with Marlon. Give me your thoughts on round one, because that seems to have set things up quite nicely now for that second round.
Yeah, it was a very exciting first round. There was a lot of things happening, horses jumping beautifully, but also a few struggling. I still think the course was big as expected, was nice lines. This course, it's different.
Let's talk round two. There's millions of euros on the table. It is literally the last class of the entire season. You expect it to be big and scary and challenging and wonderful. From what you've walked, I saw you and Marlon having deep conversations. Give me your assessment of what's here.
Yeah, it's a big track. The difference on this time, I think it's a lot of options. Also where the time is an extra factor, because if you are on equal penalties, of course the time matters. So the riders will take a little bit more about the time. They will go a little bit quicker. There is options to go inside turns. On two places there is an inside turn to take. There is another two places at least where you can leave a straight out. But at the same time the jumps are very delicate. So it's a few options in this course, and it's yeah, I think it's a question how much do you want to play safe or not.
And that's I love how you've taken the conversation there, because choices is actually what makes this so interesting, isn't it? Because if it's quite straight up and down, we almost know what to expect. But having you say that excites me already, because you're right. Now in the split-second decision, these riders are going to have to think, is that a long 4 or a short 5? Is there a team direction to go inside, to go outside? Maybe the team call is to go inside and a fence falls, and then all of a sudden things change. So talk to people who aren't quite aware of just how much on-the-fly decision-making needs to happen, because you can plan all you want. If fences fall, how on their toes do these riders need to be, Angelica, to be able to split decision thinking like that?
In a small arena like this, the jumps comes really fast. So each stride matters. You plan your whole course, what strides you're going to do everywhere, but sometimes something happened that you didn't expect, and you need to take a really quick new decision, which plays a role for the whole rest of the course. So it's those small decisions you're making in the course makes a huge difference. And also where I said inside turn, outside turn, of course when you decide to be a little bit quicker, you take an extra risk. When you do an inside turn, you're not maybe as straight on a jump that you are if you go around, which adds an extra risk. So every time you decide, there's this fine line. How much risk do I want to take?
How much can I push without keeping the fence up, but shaving time off the clock? And that's what, especially as we get further down the start list, is going to become more and more interesting. And the fact that Basel Cosmopolitans will be second last to go, they would have watched, I beg your pardon, Valkenswaard, New York Empire, Riesenbach and Prague all make some of those decisions that hopefully will inform them later on. Before I let you go, how much of a surprise has Rodrigo been here this weekend? Because it was a late call-up. This is maybe not the place you don't want to have time to prepare, but talk about just fitting in and looking so comfortable. What has the team been saying and thinking about Rodrigo Almeida?
Yeah, it has been amazing to have Rodrigo on the team. Also the way he goes in every single round, he's fighting for it. He came, of course, from last week with good results, but I think it's amazing. He's an amazing team player. He's amazing to have in the team. Strong jockey, We are all really happy to have him with us this week.
Well, I wish you all the best for the upcoming second round. Basel Cosmopolitans giving us some wonderful perspective. Angelica Augustin Zanotelli, who will be watching with all of her heart in that kiss and cry as Marlon Modolo Zanotelli comes out later on. They will be the second last team to go. Let's take you through the start list then and show you how these teams are going to line up as that second round gets underway shortly, with the surprise package of Valkenswaard United going first. They will be the first team out the gate later on tonight. New York Empire will follow shortly after, powered by Lugano. Prague Lions, powered by the Czech equestrian team, third. Expect the roof on the O2 Arena to blow off when the Prague Lions come out later on tonight. Razorback International, powered by Hostjum, will be fourth. Basel Cosmopolitans, fifth. And the final team out the gate, the Rome Gladiators, powered by Cavalleria Toscana, in pole position, the team that leads on 4 penalties. Are we looking at a potential fairy tale story for the Rome Gladiators later on tonight? Let's get some thoughts from some of the youngsters that have been competing in the Global Champions League Super Cup this week. The thoughts of Anastasia Nielsen and still the teenage Jali Kas, as Dan Strange gets the thoughts of these young, incredible riders.
Thanks, Mark. I'm in the arena with 2 of the youngest stars in the GCL, Jali Kas and Anastasia Nielsen. Jali, I'll just start with you. Dream start for Rome Gladiators. How did you see round 1?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was unbelievable. Both riders, they jumped amazingly around, and Manuela did his best. I hope we will push until the end, and let's see how it goes.
Anastasia, you had a really good first round in the Longines Global Champions Tour Super Grand Prix yesterday. You would have wanted to be riding in the GCL Super Cup final. How much have you enjoyed watching?
I loved it. You can learn so much from these amazing riders. I mean, they made it so far, and the course was built really well, so I just loved watching it, and watching every rider ride different horses around the same course. You can learn so much.
What's your experience been like this week in the GC Prague playoffs? Because it must have been a bit of a pinch yourself moment how everything's panned out this season.
Definitely, it was never planned to come here. Of course, this was a dream of mine for a very long time, but I didn't think I was gonna ride this year already. And my horses tried really hard. They jumped really well all week, and it was just so enjoyable to ride in here. The atmosphere, the crowd is amazing. It's just been a dream, and I hope we can be back in 2 years.
I'm absolutely sure you will. Jali, thank you, Anastasia. I'm just going to finish with you, Jali. You've walked the course briefly. What do you think of it for round 2?
Yeah, I think it's a totally new game right now. Many teams are pretty close, and this course seems really delicate, very difficult, tricky distances, and I hope the riders will manage well.
Jali, Anastasia, I've no doubt we'll be seeing you both in future GCL Super Cups, jumping in your own right. For now, to Jali and Rome Gladiators, though, the best of luck. Mark, back over to you.
What careers these 2 young riders have ahead of them. Jali Kas and Anastasia Nielsen, speaking to Dan Strange, getting their thoughts and perspective on this incredible week, this incredible competition of the GCL Super Cup. And we are now on the doorstep of the final, the second and final round of the entire season of 2025. And we are moments away from finding out then how it is going to end come the end of the night. Rome Gladiators in pole position. Behind them, Basel Cosmopolitans and Prague Lions, while Valkenswaard United will be in a few moments' time the first team out the gate to kickstart the second and final round. Make sure you stay with us here and watch every single moment live from the O2 Arena in Prague as the second round of the GCL Super Cup final is next.
The next hour will be simply thrilling, ladies and gentlemen, as we decide who wins the 2025 GC Prague Playoffs Super Cup final. The big guns are yet to fire. We've got two dark horses that are at the head of affairs. Rome Gladiators, the best team of round one, lead by 4 penalties. Ahead of the brand new team, Basel Cosmopolitans. This year they are second. And the champions here 2 years ago, they are third with a disappointing third round in the first round. For the Weishaupt, that's Riesenbeck International, powered by Horse Gym. They are third on 12 penalties. The top 6 teams covered by 16 penalties. 8 penalties covers the podium, places 1 through to 3. But, well, what an afternoon lies ahead of us. €6.5 million to be decided. The face of that, huge amount of prize money in the next hour or so. My name is Ed Holloway. Great to be here. It's wonderful. James Fisher alongside me. Ilan Vetsani has built a powerful, beefed-up test for the second round. It looks very, very impressive. These are teams that assemble for the second round. All 6, of course, return. They carry through their faults from the first round into this decisive round 2. And in the event of equality of faults, the aggregate time of the 3 combinations will decide who gets ahead of the same penalty score. We take you back through highlights of round 1. James alongside me. James, a really exciting first round. And again, the twists and tails have been unrelenting.
Yeah, it certainly gave a nice result. 7 clears out of 18 starts. That was Marcus Henning. A couple of faults that hopefully he will sort of put to rights in the next round.
This team
again, Hans-Dieter Dreyer. This was a difficult combination. It was vertical Oxer. Oxer really tested them. I think this... what we're going to see now will test them in a different way. Hermitage, Cologne. And that's a horse that's got lots of ability. Again, that triple combination really testing them.
This team won the quarterfinals and they had a tough season, but boy, they've had an outstanding first round in this Super Cup final. 1 down for Emanuele Gaudiano. It was a great start. Then Yuri Mansour, Peter Fredriksson, both with outstanding clears for the lead after the first round. The home team, 4th last year. And again, they would have 2 down for their first rider. A great clear from Peter de Vos. That's Peter celebrating. Thibaut Spears had a good round, just a plank down near the gate was the 1 down. This fence, they impressed Kay, but they're in touch. Now this team, they've never podiumed, they've never won, and New York Empire, they're not out of it, but they lie on 16 penalties. They're 12 back of leading total. I think their chances of winning have basically evaporated this afternoon. Bertram Allen in trouble, which was the reason for their big score, sadly. Scott Brash jumped a great clear, but could not rectify the wrongs. Brand new team. James and Basel Cosmopolitans lying second. They are very much in with a chance of winning. They're only 4 back.
Yeah, lots of quality there. They're very upbeat. It's sort of a little bit the comeback kids here. And yeah, they're in a really good position. His Riesenbeck International, and unbelievable 2 clears from Christian and Max. And Philip Weishaupt on probably an inexperienced type of horse in the toughest position of Anchorman there, finding it quite tough, but they're still in a strong position, and they're still possibly one of the favourites. But with the passion that the Rome Gladiators and Basel Cosmopolitans have got, then they're looking good for podiums.
So those are the standings. 8 penalties, covers are podium only. It's anybody's really still from this point on. And what has Ilana Vetsani got up here? Is Italian Sleafrus in round 2. Well, it's a very big course, I can promise you. In this compact arena, the O2 Arena, the first fence is the Lamps Vertical down the middle of the arena. That's fence 1 at 155 tall. It's then a shallow left-hander into a very big square oxer, the Airbank oxer, 155 square. That's fence number 2. It's impressive. Right-handed, it's a sharp right-hander into the Rolls-Royce Prague purple vertical. 160, very tall, and then right-handed to an enormous ox, the Mucha Liverpool, 155 by 160, is again visually striking. Left-handed they'll turn, it's a sharp hairpin bend. Ahead of the in-gate lies the enormous, airy Czech equestrian team. Plank of 5 looks very demanding. Left hand, the clock socks again is impressive. 3 strides down to the Longines Liverpool. That is fence 7, 160 tall. They then turn left into the meat of the course, the treble, the GCL combination. 8A entering, 155 by 160 the land, 8 meters and 10 it walks. 1 stride to an enormous 160 tall vertical, 8B, and then 2 strides forward out. It is a distance to a plank. It looks enormous, 8C. 160 tall is stated, but we think it's bigger. They then swing right-handed. Far side is the very skinny, very visually flimsy-looking Prague Ox. It's enormous away from in-gate with that suck-back effect. 155 tall, 160 wide, fence 9. Then 4 strides down to the late combination. It is the Prague Playoffs vertical entering. This is fence 10A after 4 stride distance. It's 160 tall, 8 meters and 20, the distance in between 1 forward stride. The Ox are leaving 155 by 160, 10B. And then the home turn, 2 fences after this enormous effort out of the late double combination. We'll see them come down towards the finish line, but it's a long way home from here because there's an inside cut. I think they'll have to take it because time will surely be decisive. Back to the Longines vertical again. It's skinny at 11, 160 tall, and then left-hander into the final fence. And it's enormous. The blue-yellow Prague Lions Ox are down by the in-gate. It's a phenomenal course. James, what do you make of the test of Ilan Evetsani?
Yeah, it is a really big course. It's sort of elements of a reverse course of the first round, but very much up to height. Some of the verticals there, Uli Evetsani there, just deep in thought at what he's built. But yeah, a couple there at 165 is the starting list.
Yes, we go in reverse order as from the placings in the first round. So the biggest score was for this team, surprisingly, the season's champions. Reverse of fortune, they start on 20, Valkenswaard United. New York Empire slithered into the semis, and they are again back in the pack. 16 their score, they'll be looking to move upwards. Dennis Lynch, Bertram Allen and Scott Brash. The home team, 4th last year, and they line 4th this afternoon. Prague Lions starting on a score of 12. Niels Sales, Peter de Vos and Thibaut Spitz. Then come the 2023 champions, Riesbeck International, powered by Horse Gym. Christian Kukuk, Max Weishaupt, great clear from him. And Christian Philip Weishaupt in trouble in the first round, looking for better fortune. This team lying in second, Basel Cosmopolitans, we welcome, as they look for the biggest win in their first season. Would be an outstanding achievement as rookies this year. The leaders, Rome Gladiators, they have a 4 penalty cushion. It's a slender margin. Emanuele Gaudiano, Yuri Mansour and Peter Fredriksson. The leaders on a score of 4. Well, James, next 45 minutes is going to be wonderful.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. You've got the Basel Cosmopolitans and Rome Gladiators in 5th and 6th. The other teams will want them to slip up because if they don't, there's too much of a margin. New York Empire have made it hard work, really, the last few days, and they're very realistic, down-to-earth guys. But they know they got their work cut out, and they're going to keep chipping away, hoping that the others will make mistakes. So, yeah, they got to pull out really triple clear, really, in this round, and just hope that the others feel the pressure and the nerves, and yeah, there's some sort of element of hope there.
I mean, bearing in mind the top 3, 12 to 4 penalties, James, it's an 8 penalty cushion, but this course could be so demanding, bearing in mind these horses jumping again. But I think, I mean, it's a slender chance, but 12, if you could finish on a 12, could be enough for a win. What do you think to that?
Well, that's right. It is. You know, we always say it's big, and it is, but to do it twice, you start getting mistakes, and there's also the margin of time coming into it. You know, do they take any risks? Taking risks when it's up at 1m60, it's difficult. I would say there's a couple of really tricky lines of floating in 1 to 2. This is like a 7, sweeping 7 here. That will be pretty standard. But I think the riders will be a little bit conscious of the time, and they're going to be clipping the corners. I think the last 2 fences are difficult to jump. 11 to 12. I was with Jan Tops at fence 12, and he said it looked like a house. I mean, I don't know what sort of house, but it was big as a house.
It's a packed house, ladies and gentlemen. It's the biggest afternoon in world show jumping. Welcome to the second round of the GC Prague playoffs for the GCL Super Cup final. This is the last act of what's been an outstanding week here in the Czech capital. The surprises have been abundant. And what does this final act have in terms of surprises for us in store? We can't wait to find out. Now we go in reverse order, and Valkenswaard United, they were the season's champions this year. The idea behind the Prague playoffs is that if you've had a tough season, you could recoup your losses in this one weekend. It's been the other way round for Valkenswaard so far. They had an outstanding season, but it's been a tough GC Prague playoffs for them today. Could they save their best for last and try and salvage some pride, if nothing else, potentially? Marcus Enning, we welcome. An unusual couple down for Marcus in the first round. Kulo 42 will set us into action. The second round of the GCL Super Cup final is live and kicking. It was a super smooth first half of the round for Kulo. Imperceptible what was the reason for the two down to my eye. I think yours, James, probably too. Let's have a look at this course of Ilana Vetsani.
Yeah, he's given a very nice start to this course, 7 and 7. That gets into a nice rhythm. A little bit long 6, you see Marcus moving up on that turn. 3 strides there. Now a little bit of a break between 7 and 8. The first of 2 sort of gaps in this course. Oxa vertical, vertical this time. This is 165 coming out. Oh, and this is a risk coming inside to this very boxy looking Prague style, and that's what can happen when you do something like that. They were looking at that in the course walk, and it did not look attractive. From
Marcus Enning, wasn't it? But it's a very flimsy Oxa, that is.
It's a difficult line. It's 6, slightly awkward to see, but no problem. But that was the only reason he had it down. He took a chance, and the others will be wondering, is it worth the risk to come inside there?
Yeah, a little rueful shake of the head from Marcus Enning, as if so that was not intended. Valkenswaard United's back's firmly against the wall. He knew that he had to do something quick. If they're going to catch up any ground on those scores that are ahead of them, they need, of course, those ahead to have trouble and be slower than them. That was Marcus Enning's clear policy that didn't quite work out. Good round from Kulo 42, an improved round, but it's 4 opening score for Valkenswaard United, these season's champions.
Yeah, he did the turn, just didn't get it quite right. He was a little bit tight to it. Went to the right just to make a bit of space. That's why Marcus just shook his head. It was a good turn, but not quite right. Difficult to get it right when you're looking into the collecting ring like that. The in-gate, there's other stuff going on. It's a real risk.
Well, a salt in the wound for Marcus Enning, because Valkenswaard United still their search for the first GCL Super Cup final win for them must go on into next year. They've won everything in the GCL in terms of seasons championships, with 3 seasons victories, including this year, but still this Super Cup elusive. Antis Drake gets away. Elysium, this Rolls-Royce grey, cruises down to the big Mucha Liverpool. And it's off to a very strong start.
Yeah, you can hear this slightly different style for this horse. You can really hear the hooves pounding the floor. Clear up to fence 8. Triple combination. Oxa, vertical, vertical. 165, that's gone. Decided to go round. It's still a difficult fence even when you go round.
It's to drag down to the enormous Prague playoffs combination late on in the course, with the error entering the GCL treble 8A, the Oxa back bar. And with the last 2 fences will go outside to the Longines skinny to make certain.
Really worked at that last fence as well, just to make sure he held it on the floor. Didn't worry about the clock. Once he'd had that mistake, he just did not want to have another one.
Well, Hans-Dieter Dre has been on the Longines Global Champions Tour for many moons. He won his first Grand Prix in Chantilly back in 2012. And superb news yesterday that Patrick Ayoun, the president of Longines, and Jan Tops revealed to the public that the association between Longines and the Global Champions Tour will go on another 7 years. James, up in 2032 now. That's the wonderful news from yesterday. So this partnership will continue ever strengthening.
It's a beautiful partnership. It's been fantastic to have Longines alongside. and such a quality tour to be associated with. Really great news.
So Valkenswaard United's afternoon, I'm afraid, darkening further with one down apiece for Marcus Enning and Hansi Dieter Dreyer. Now their young maestro, the season champion, and world number 5 to anchor Valkenswaard United ship this afternoon. Hermitage Cologne, we welcome, had one down with Gilles in the first round. This pair that won the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in Paris this year. And also along with Colista Dien that guided Gilles to the season's championship to become the youngest ever winner of the Longines Global Champions Tour season championship.
We're starting to get a feel of this competition. The fact that it's got a very nice start with these 2 7-stride lines gets them into a good mood. I would say the first part of the course is very fair. It gets tough where the triple combination comes, and that little line to the last.
And James, how many clears are you anticipating? What's your sort of feeling at the moment?
We were thinking perhaps not quite as many as 7 from the first round, but this gives you an idea already. They're handling it good. This triple combination is difficult, and it's tall coming out, and he's coming inside as well, same as Marcus Enning. He's got a good stride though. That's the way to do it. He went deeper into the corner. Little reassurance by Gilles, just on the tap on the neck. Coming inside, you've got to get straight so you don't touch the middle part of that combination.
Gilles Thomas had a tough week by his exacting very high standards, but that is a really strong round. It's the first clear in round 2 of the GCL Super Cup final. The genius finally comes good after a wonderful season.
Yeah, that's what we expect from Hermitage Cologne. He's just absolutely consistent all year. One of the best ever to watch. Look at the technique and just trying really hard out of that Prague playoff double. This is the last fence. Oh, really reaching for the sky. And yeah, you get the feeling that because it's a nice start to this course, the first half is quite comfortable. I think we may see the similar amount of clears, six or 7.
We go down now to the kiss and cry.
Marek, you're Gilles Thomas's uncle. You must be a very proud uncle at the moment.
Finally, the clear for Gilles Thomas that he has been searching for, but perhaps a little too late, as Valkenswaard United now finish on 28 penalties. New York Empire next in the ring. Dennis Lynch, Bertram Allen and Scott Brash. If you want to watch the final round of the 2025 season here at the GC Playoffs, sign up for that GCTV Live Pass and come and see who is going to be crowned a GCL Super Cup final winner.